this is about racism. And if you can't hear it from them, then hear it from me. As a white woman and a daughter of a man of privilege and power, he knew that his strength was to bring people that didn't look like him to the table of government. And so 50 years later, after Barb...
Sorry to cut you, but that video will continue at the end of this video, so make sure you watch this video up to the end. Welcome back to the channel. So Texas just passed these new congressional maps right after Trump came out and said he needed 5 more Republican seats. Now this is a problem, a very big problem, and this is happening ahead of the 2026 midterm elections. Like one of the guys said, we don't know the full impact of this yet, but what we do know is clear. This redrawing of congressional maps could give the GOP 5 extra seats, or depending on how you look at it, it means Democrats will be losing 5 seats as well. And here's something else that you need to keep in mind. When it comes to these elections, the value of votes isn't balanced the way you would think. 5 black voters are equivalent to 1 palm color voter. 3 Hispanic voters are equivalent to 1 palm color voter. Now, I could be wrong on that, and I stand to be corrected, but this is the reality people are talking about. Let's take a look at the reactions this has gotten on TikTok. And remember to drop your thoughts in the comment section down below. I'll play the video that I played earlier on at the end of these clips. I'll leave my own 2 cents at the very end of this video. Make sure you watch your video up to the end. Let's watch this.
So Texas just showed you how minority rule works. They literally just gerrymandered the map so a Republican can take every single Democratic seat left in Texas. 5 seats gone. I told y'all the Republican playbook is not a secret anymore. They know they're the minority party. But instead of winning by ideas, they draw on the map with crayon to lock everybody else out. Then they'll turn around and tell you they're the party of the people. Please, the only people they look out for is the people that look like them, pray like them, and act like them. Now I'm gonna tell you where I'm excited, y'all. Because now it's game on, baby. It's game on. Gavin Newsom in California. He's already moving on it. Kathy Hochul in New York. She said, oh, y'all like gerrymandering? Okay, bet. Watch this. Maryland, I'm looking at you next. You better sharpen those pencils and get to drawing. Because here's the truth. If Republicans are going to rig the game, Democrats better match their energy. Stop bringing a water balloon to a flamethrower fight. Gerrymander Republicans right out of their comfort zones. Because see, once Democrats actually play the same game, folks will start to see that Republicans only have power by cheating. They've been a minority party hiding under a majority disguise for decades. So I say this, thank you, future president. Oh, wait. I mean, Governor Newsom, because at least somebody on the Democratic side has a backbone. And Democrats, if you really want to win, stop wringing your hands and match energy. That is the only way that this country is going to see how weak the Republican Party really is.
Well, they've done it. The Republicans have gerrymandered fucking Texas. Democrats will lose 5 seats. We don't even know if Jasmine Crockett is going to have a fucking district anymore. Yes, they were able to do it because Democrats brought their asses back to the fucking state. Why? Like, why would y'all do that? Now we have lost 5 seats in the fucking House of Representatives, and we cannot get Mike Johnson out that motherfucking seat. But that's okay. I pray to God that California steps the fuck in, votes to redistrict that fucking state so that we can pick up about 8 or 9 seats. That way we can get Mike Johnson off that fucking podium, because I'm ready for him to get back on his knees in the goddamn corner. I'm sick of him. And I'm so pissed off. Because whether y'all know it or not, I grew up in Houston, okay? I'm an H-Town girly. So allowing white, old, racist men to control that fucking state, which they are not even the majority of, is fucking disheartening. It is so fucking, it pisses me off that y'all, I can't even speak it. I can't.
Hey, yo, Jasmine Crockett, please check on her. Texas has just changed the redistricting maps, which adds 5 Republican seats to the House. Now 5 seats, that means that Jasmine's seat is no more. Somebody do a check on Jasmine Crockett. The racket is over. The racket is over. No more Jasmine Crockett. She ain't gonna be able to win. She will not be able to survive this one. But what do you think? Comment section. I'd love to hear from you.
What is going on in Texas? So you about to tell us that we are 1/5 of a white person? This is 2025, and Hispanics are 1/3 of a white person? The map that they're trying to redraw, 445,000 white residents get one representative, 1.4 million Hispanics. It will take 1.4 million Hispanics to get that same type of representation. And 2 million black people, African Americans, to get the same one representative that the white people get. So depending on the number of people in the district will depend on the representation that they get. So basically that's 1/5 the value of a white resident for black people and 1/3 the value of a white person for Hispanics. Are you out your mind? Are they losing it over and saying it out loud in real life and got the nerve to threaten people with jail and what? And it got approved. The map was approved. They're going to redraw these districts. They're going to copy this and do it all over the United States. Listen, stop playing fair and get to it. You know it's coming. Stop being reactive. Be proactive. We know it's coming. We know what they do. We know what the game plan is. Stop them at every stop.
If you are not black or Hispanic and live in Texas, I do not want to hear if you have a problem with what Gavin Newsom is doing. I don't care. My vote is only worth 1/5 of a white person's now in Texas. That's what they just did yesterday. If you're Hispanic, it's only 1/3. That means it takes 3 Hispanic people for every 1 white voter. It takes 5 for black people for every white voter. I don't care, okay? I'm so serious. And it's not benign, this conversation that you all are having, saying you have an issue with it, and yet we shouldn't be fighting fire with fire and all this other kind of shit. It harms us the most. If you are white, I don't want to fucking hear it. I'm so serious. Because you are not the one that's going to take the brunt of this administration and all the Republicans that are backing him. I'm so sick of it, because the thing is, it's not this super benign thing, because people in California have to vote on this, okay? If California is our best bet to counter what they're doing in Texas. And if you discourage people from voting for this, I swear to fucking God, I'm so tired of y'all not listening to us. Stop saying that this is a bad thing, okay? You will not suffer the consequences of your moral superiority, okay? I am now worth less as a voter. But I am one of the most impacted by this entire country and every decision that everyone makes. By the way, this is not the only thing that Texas is doing to us, by the way. In Tarrant County, they just got rid of 100 polling locations. Did you hear me? 100. You all saw. They literally held one of our representatives hostage to pass this map. And when she tried to talk about it in a virtual interview, she was threatened with a felony. They had a representative ask them point blank, period, if I leave, will you arrest me? And they would not answer. They're attacking us from every end. I need you all to get a fucking grip. And now he's over here doing more illegal shit because he's trying to make it. He's targeting legislators here because they left and they're embarrassed by it. There is a imperative need for you all to connect reality with theory, because none of this is theoretical. I have a degree in this shit. I've studied it to the nth degree, but I didn't have to because I live it every fucking day. I'm tired of it. Stop. And thank you to every Californian that has messaged me or commented saying that you are supporting the redistricting in California and you're encouraging people to do so. I cannot tell you how much I appreciate that. They're attacking us from every end, okay? I need you all to check your privilege, like immediately. They're over here saying that slavery wasn't that bad now. Did you know that? And they're trying to scrub that shit from museums. They used to eat us and turn us into furniture. And now they're trying to kick us back into the old days with, again, my vote is only worth a fraction of white people's. I'm so serious. Get a grip and stop.
The Texas Republican House of Representatives just approved a new congressional map. Now, this is just 2 weeks after the Democrats walked out and left the state of Texas. The final vote was 88-52 along party lines, of course. Now, this will hand 5 additional seats to the GOP in the House, in the U.S. House. A Senate panel advanced a similar congressional map on Sunday. Now, the full chamber will send the new congressional lines to Greg Abbott's desk, who's the governor, to Abbott's desk this week. Obviously, he's going to sign it. This is what Trump had ordered, demanded of the Republicans in Texas. And that's what they did. They followed orders. There's no such thing as fair representation in the United States anymore. This is something that's really important that just happened. Of course, the Democrats are going to try and redraw their congressional maps. But this is the beginning of something really dangerous for our country. Will our votes end? Not just for us women, but in general. If you remember the other day when President Zelensky was in the Oval Office talking with Trump, and they were talking about how, you know, Zelensky is still president because there's been a war going on. And when there's a war going on, well, you can't hold any elections. And Trump made a comment. He was sarcastic in a way, but no, I think he was serious. Oh, if there's a war, you can't hold elections? Mark my words, we're in for a long 3 years and possibly more. I will keep you updated on all of this, of course. Please like, follow, and share so that I can continue to provide you with content. And I appreciate you being here.
Whether or not I should make this video, but here we are. Texas just changed their political maps, and here's what it means. Normally, maps are redrawn every 10 years after the census, but Texas did it early on purpose to give one party more power. They split up the Black and Hispanic communities so their vote doesn't count the same. It's called cracking and packing, either cramming us all into one district or slicing us into pieces so our votes are watered down. And here's the crazy part. A Black person's vote is worth about 1/5 of a white person's vote. Yes, you heard me. And a Hispanic vote is worth 1/3 of a white person's vote. That means our communities do not get equal power in choosing leaders. And if your vote counts less, your voice counts less in schools, healthcare, safety, and everything that affects daily life. So when people say, oh, maps don't matter, that's wrong. These maps decide who represents us, and whether Black or Hispanic voices in Texas really counts.
This is about racism. And if you can't hear it from them, then hear it from me. As a white woman and a daughter of a man of privilege and power, he knew that his strength was to bring people that didn't look like him to the table of government. And so 50 years later, after Barbara Jordan, aided by white people to have a voice, the first woman of color elected to the South, a woman who sat in the impeachment of Nixon, a woman who said that finally, after amendment, debate, and vote, I am finally part of we the people. To stand here as a 50-year-old woman and know that we now go back in time. So let's talk about cowardice and cheats. Because if you knew you could win this next election, you wouldn't be taking this effort to try to steal 5 seats from elected officials that members of color elected to represent them in Washington, D.C. You wouldn't be doing everything you can to take this coalition of diversity and stand up at the mic and say, why are we doing this? Because we can. And you shield your racism with your party, with ignorance and arrogance. to come up here and say, to be honest with you, I haven't read the bill from the other side. To be honest with you, I haven't talked to the lawyers to be bringing this before it. Because you think that people will give you grace on ignorance and arrogance around party because you can't admit that the root of all of this is about racism and power. A power grab. A pure power grab. And so I'm going to ask, don't shake your head. Because I'm going to give you a moment to prove what you mean behind that. Because when Donald Trump called Georgia Republicans and said, hey boys, I need you to steal me almost 12,000 votes. To those men credit, they said, no sir. We already know what Governor Abbott said. In a few minutes, we're going to find out what y'all say.
Yeah, so like I was saying, this whole situation with Texas passing these new congressional maps right after, the boss made it clear that he wanted 5 more representative seats has raised a lot of talk, a lot of outrage, and for a good reason, because let's be real, this is not about fairness. It's not just about numbers on a map, it's about the people. It's about the people those numbers represent. Yeah, that's how I wanted to say it. And when you dig deeper into what these maps really mean, it becomes obvious, who stands to lose the most from these so-called redistricting. See, when Democrats lose seats, it's not just a party shift, it's a shift in representation. Some of these Democrats who will be losing their seats are, people who look like me and you. I know the majority of my viewers. So yeah, people who look like me and you. They are people who carry the voices of black communities, who advocates for policies that actually address black people's struggles and speak to black people's lived realities. Now imagine those seats being replaced with palm color representatives who don't understand those struggles, who may not prioritize those communities, and in many cases who simply don't care. What does that tell you? It tells you that this isn't just politics as usual. This is targeted. This is an attack on the black community, plain and simple, just like that. People like to dress it up as strategy, as just another move on the chessboard before the 2026 midterms. But when you strip away the nice language, what you're left with is indirect racism. It's calculated, and it's hidden behind technical terms like redistricting and gerrymandering, something like that. Yeah, I think those are the words, gerrymandering. But make no mistake, we see it for what it is, because at the end of the day, it's about diluting the power of black and brown voters. It's about making sure our communities have less influence, less representation, less of a say in the policies that directly impact black folks' lives. Now, I know some people will argue and say, oh no, this isn't about race. This is just about winning elections, they say. But that's exactly the problem. Winning elections at the expense of silencing voices, especially black voices. Because they are the ones with 5 voters equivalent to 1 palm color person. I mean, what is that, guys? What is that? It's about who gets to be heard and who gets ignored. And if history has taught us anything, it's that black voices are pushed out of the room. The laws that come out of those rooms rarely save black folks. In fact, they often harm black folks. I'm not joking, I'm not lying, I'm not making this up. I mean, people say these things every day. And I'll be honest with you, I don't even think this is only about Democrats versus Republicans. This is bigger than party lines. This is about the fundamental idea of fairness in a democracy. How is it fair that black voters are treated as the equivalent of 1 palm color person? How is it fair that 3 Hispanic voters add up to 1 palm color voter in terms of influence? I mean, think about that for a second. These numbers don't show imbalance. They scream injustice. They remind us that in practice, not every vote is valued equally. And if that's the case, then what are we even doing? What does democracy really mean if entire communities are being mathematically reduced and politically erased? And that's why people are angry. That's why this move by Texas has sparked outrage, because people can see through the game being played here. They understand that this isn't just about giving Republicans 5 more seats. It's about taking 5 seats away from communities of color. It's about changing the rules of the game so that black and brown voters are left sitting on the sidelines watching as decisions are made that will shape their future without their consent. So let's not sugarcoat it. This is indirect racism. It's racism dressed up in paperwork, racism hidden in district lines, racism tucked neatly into maps. But at its core, it's still racism. And the saddest part is some folks will defend this until their last breath. I'm talking black folks. There are some people, melanin people who are supporting this, acting like they don't see what's right in front of them. But anyway, some of us see this. We know exactly like what is going on. And this is why we have to keep paying attention, because if they can redraw maps today and snatch away 5 seats, what's stopping them from doing more tomorrow? What's stopping them from redrawing again in another few years until, melanated communities barely even exist politically? This is why it's important to call things out for what they are. This is why we can't stay silent. We cannot afford to be silent at this moment. So as we wrap this up, I want you guys to really think about what is happening, like what is really going on. Don't just see it as a political move. See it as what it is really, what it is, an attack on representation, an attack on fairness, an attack on communities that already have to fight twice as hard to be heard. And if you're someone who has ever said, oh, racism isn't as bad as it used to be, I want you to look at this situation and ask yourself, how much more obvious does it need to get? This is why conversations like this matter, because when you connect the dots, when you really look at the bigger picture, you realize that these aren't just random political events. They are patterns, and those patterns always seem to come at the expense of black folks, Hispanic people, and other marginalized groups. Those are not coincidences. Those are intentional moves, Yeah, so this has caused outrage, and rightfully so, because when you take away representation from the people, the very people who need it most, you're not just playing politics. You're playing with people's lives, with their future, with their communities, and that's something we cannot ignore, guys. Yeah, so go ahead, drop your thoughts in the comment section down below. If it's your first time to be on this channel, please go ahead, subscribe, turn on that notification bell so that every time I upload such videos, you'll be notified. I'll definitely see you in my next video. Stay peaceful.